Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Going to be giving you my player ratings from our loss to Villarreal in the Europa League final. David De Gea, I'm going to give him a 4 out of 10. De Gea had 11 chances to save a penalty. He should have saved at least one of those penalties. And he missed a penalty himself, so he cost us the game. Couldn't really do anything about Gerard Moreno's goal. I think De Gea should have been replaced by Dean Henderson for the penalty shootout, and Solskjaer said he was considering replacing De Gea for Henderson. I think there's a good chance that De Gea will leave Man United in the summer transfer window. Earlier on this year, it said that De Gea had made his transfer decision, said he's preparing to leave Manchester United, and Man United is set to pay off his huge contract. De Gea's got like 2 years left on his current contract and he's on £375,000 a week. De Gea's obviously now our second choice goalkeeper. So if we offload him in the summer transfer window, it will be the right decision, because I reckon De Gea has now had his years at Manchester United. He's endured 10 years at the club, and I reckon he's had around 8 good years out of the 10 years he's been with us, because in the last couple of years he has been a liability, reflecting on the calamitous mistakes he's made. So just a 4 out of 10 for him. Wan-Bissaka, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I thought he enjoyed a pretty good game, got forward well at times, put some good crosses into the box, and defensively he was good. Wan-Bissaka is improving as a Manchester United player. He's now endured 2 full seasons at the club. We got Wan-Bissaka in a deal worth £50 million from Crystal Palace in the summer of 2019. He's one of the best right-backs we've had since Gary Neville, and I'm convinced he can emulate into next Gary Neville. So yeah, 7 out of 10 for him. Eric Bailly, I'm going to give him a 4 out of 10. Thought he endured a very poor game. Got bullied far too often. Did Man United make the wrong decision giving Eric Bailly that new contract? Not so long ago, Bailly signed a contract with Man United until 2024. There's also an option of a further year. I think Bailly is a good centre-half, but in the last couple of games or so, he has looked off the pace. My element of concern about Bailly is too injury prone, so in that aspect, he is a liability. Bailly has been at the club now for quite a few years. We got him for £30 million from Villarreal back in 2016. Victor Lindelof, I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10. He endured a poor game. Defensively, he was shambolic, and he was definitely accountable for Villarreal's goal by Gerard Moreno. I do have my strong reservations about Victor Lindelof. I'd like us to offload him in the summer transfer window, but I don't think we will. I think he'll get given another season at Manchester United, but I can assure he hasn't got a long-term future at the club. We got Lindelof from Benfica back in 2017, got him in a deal worth £31 million. Luke Shaw, I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Average performance by Luke Shaw. You can say Luke Shaw was partly to blame for Villarreal's goal because, he allowed the crossing. Luke Shaw has looked off the pace recently, but he still enjoyed a very, very good season for Man United. He has been our best player. Luke Shaw's had a good career at Man United. He's been at the club over 6 years now. And I think he's done well, despite the injuries he's had, because Luke Shaw is injury prone and he still remains our first choice left back despite the arrival of Alex Telles last summer. I think Luke Shaw has just over 2 years left on his current contract. So yeah, 6 out of 10 for him. Paul Pogba, I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Started the game brightly, and then as the game went on, he faded away. Scott McTominay, he's going to get an 8 out of 10. I thought he was one of our best players. McTominay got the assist for Cavani's equaliser. McTominay drove forward well. He won tackles. And created some very, very good openings. So 8 out of 10 for McTominay. Bruno Fernandes, I'm going to give him a 4 out of 10. Bruno Fernandes didn't get on the ball enough. He looks very, very isolated. Mason Greenwood, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I thought he looked very, very bright, and I think he put a good crossing in the first half. Marcus Rashford, I'm going to give him a 4 out of 10. Poor performance by him. Rashford, though, did have a very, very good chance in the game, which he should have converted. But Rashford's decision making was poor. His control was poor. And got dispossessed far too often. Edinson Cavani, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I thought he enjoyed a pretty good game. Obviously, he scored our equalising goal. We obviously brought substitutions on in the game. Obviously, Fred came on. I'll give him a 7 out of 10. Took his penalty well. We also brought Alex Telles on. I'll give him a 7 out of 10 because he took his penalty well. We brought Tuanzebe on. Give him a 7 out of 10. Took his penalty well. Juan Mata, give him a 7 out of 10. He scored a very good penalty as well and scored in the 2-1 win against Wolves from the penalty spot. And Daniel James, I'll give him a 7 out of 10 because he also took his penalty well. So that is your player ratings. Villarreal won 11-10 on penalties. It was 1-1 after extra time. I've got to say, the game lacked quality. There was only 3 shots on target across 120 minutes. We didn't deserve to win that final. I thought it was a poor performance by Manchester United and we was lacking in that final third. I've got to criticise Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. There's some mistakes he made. I thought his substitutions were wrong. He brought the substitutions on way too late. You know, the first sub he brought on was in the 100th minute. He should have brought the subs on quicker. Some United fans think the lineup was wrong, but I don't think it was, because that's probably our strongest team. Like I mentioned earlier, Solskjaer should have put Dean Henderson in net for the penalties instead of De Gea. And I think Solskjaer should have taken Marcus Rashford off, because Marcus Rashford sustained a knock. Solskjaer obviously gave his perception on the game. You know, he said Man United did not turn up. And he said it hasn't been a successful season. Trophyless again for Manchester United. We haven't won a trophy since 2017. That's nowhere near good enough to our standards. This Europa League final was one Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had to win. You know, if we'd have won it, that would have been Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first trophy as Manchester United manager. But I was actually expecting us to beat Villarreal. We was the favourites going into the game. You know, Villarreal are a poor team, but they're not exactly world beaters, are they? By the way, that was Villarreal's first major trophy. Unai Emery has won the Europa League 4 times now, because he did win it 3 times at Sevilla. He's enjoyed one full season with Villarreal, but you've got to give Unai Emery credit the way he approached that final yesterday night. You know, showed tactical flexibility and totally nullified Manchester United. Villarreal finished 7th in La Liga. Unai Emery, though, has managed quite a few clubs, hasn't he, before? Don't forget, at one point he was at Arsenal. He obviously got Arsenal to the Europa League final, but they didn't win it. He was in charge of Arsenal for 18 months. At one point he was at Sevilla. At one point he was at Valencia. He was at PSG at one point. Before he was at Spartak Moscow. And before he's managed Almeria and he's managed Locra Deportiva. So they are the clubs he's managed. But there's no excuses from Manchester United perspective. Yeah, Harry Maguire was a big miss. Harry Maguire has got ligament damage in his ankle. He sustained the ankle injury in our 3-1 win against Aston Villa. Obviously, Maguire missed the final training session prior to the game. Before that, though, Ollie obviously confirmed he travelled to Gdansk. Defensively, we are shambolic without Harry Maguire. So where do Manchester United go from here? Next season is huge for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and I think he is aware of that. Next season, he has got to exceed expectations if he is to remain Manchester United manager. If it starts wrong next season, then the pressure will be back on him. I presume, reflecting on that loss to Villarreal in the final, that there's a lot of Man United fans that are now demanding Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out. Obviously, they've got their reasons behind why they want him out. I presume maybe there's still some Man United fans that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in and believe that he does need at least one more season. But, we'd have won the Europa League. I'd have turned around and said, yeah, that's been a successful season for Manchester United. Along with second place, because obviously we finished second in the Premier League. I'm Ollie in at the moment. I just think he needs a bit more time. But I can assure he's not the long-term manager for Man United. He's not the manager that's going to bring us titles. We've got to get someone in with that big club mentality and someone with a proven pedigree. And Solskjaer doesn't have this. Ole has been Manchester United manager now for around 29 months, so that's over 2 years, and he has enjoyed 2 full seasons at the club. Ole has just under 1 year left on his current 3-year contract. But earlier on this year, it said that Ole agreed a 3-year contract worth 30 million. It's likely to be 2 years with an option of an extra 1. But I'll always adore Solskjaer, because at the end of the day, he is a club legend. He endured 11 years as a player for Man United. He flourished under Sir Alex Ferguson's guidance. And reflecting how long he's been with us, he has gained some managerial experience. Despite us losing the Europa League final, I still think Solskjaer has done a pretty good job in a way, because a lot of United fans, including me, didn't expect him to do as well as he has done. You can say he's done good, with the current squad he was left with when he got appointed in. But I've already told you, my 2 biggest concerns about Ole is that he's no proven pedigree. He struggles to change a game of football, and his decision making really concerns me, because in a lot of his games at Man United, he has been tactically naive. We did appoint Ole in December 2018 to replace Mourinho, and he's been permanent Man United manager since March 2019. But big summer ahead for Manchester United. Not long now till the summer transfer window opens. It opens on the 9th of June. I think Solskjaer needs backing in the summer transfer window. It's very, very imperative that he gets the players he wants to recommend in, because so far he's not been backed enough. He really, really hasn't been backed enough. And in that aspect, the blame stems from the board. I think Ole is aware of how big the summer transfer window is going to be for himself and Manchester United in general. Solskjaer recently demanded 3 world-class signings in order for Man United to challenge for the Premier League title next season. This current squad at the moment is nowhere near good enough to win the Premier League title. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013, which is 8 years ago now. So yeah, there's a lot of players that Manchester United are looking at. Obviously, the news on Jaden Sancho from Borussia Dortmund. Jaden Sancho wants his future resolved before the start of the Euros, and Dortmund have set an 82 million asking price. Jaden Sancho has Man United transfer hopes, as Borussia Dortmund are looking at replacements. Fabrizio Romano did recently say that Man United are interested in Jaden Sancho, but he said there's been no official bids or talks yet. It is an open race. Dortmund recently told Jaden Sancho that he can leave the club this summer. And Solskjaer's made Jaden Sancho a transfer priority. It said not so long ago that the deal for Jaden Sancho has been agreed. It said a contract's been agreed, the personal terms have been agreed, and Sancho came out and said that he loves the prospect of joining Man United this summer. But Sancho expects to complete a move to Man United in the summer. Sancho's representatives are more confident than ever that Sancho will join Man United this summer. Chelsea are in for him, Liverpool have been in for him, and Bayern Munich recently entered the race. But last summer, Jaden Sancho was our number one priority target. I've already explained the reason why we didn't get him, because we was reluctant to meet Borussia Dortmund's 108 million valuation. Was only willing to pay so much up front, but last summer it said the personal terms had been agreed, the agent fees had been agreed, and a contract had been agreed. Obviously, there's a lot of narratives coming out regarding Harry Kane from Tottenham. Harry Kane will either come to us or he will go to Man City. I don't see him going to Chelsea. Daniel Levy, who's Tottenham's chairman, he recently slapped a £200 million asking price on Harry Kane. £200 million is a world record fee. Tottenham will get nowhere near £200 million for Kane. He isn't worth it. They won't even get £150 million. I think the most they'll get is £120 million. As you all know, Mauricio Pochettino could make a return to Tottenham. Could that convince Harry Kane to remain at Tottenham? The other week, Daniel Levy was furious with Harry Kane for going public with his desire to leave. Because obviously Harry Kane had an interview with Gary Neville to discuss his future. Obviously Daniel Levy doesn't want Tottenham to sell Harry Kane because he's aware of how much of an imperative player he is. Solskjaer is pushing for Man United to sign Harry Kane. He said he's open to selling Anthony Martial to fund a transfer for Kane. Ian McGarry on the Transfer Window podcast recently said Man United are preparing to sign Kane and we're ready to double his wages to around £400,000 a week. And he said we would pay an £18 million signing on fee to compensate the loss of his earnings on his Tottenham contract. I think Tottenham said they're keen on a players plus cash deal for Kane. Now, Gary Neville recently said that Man United could swap 3 players for Kane. That's Martial, Lingard and Daniel James. Chelsea launched a bid not so long ago. It said they was willing to offer Tammy Abraham and Arrizabalaga for Harry Kane. But yeah, the other week Harry Kane put a transfer request in at Tottenham. Obviously he wants to leave. Kane did say, didn't he, quite a few weeks ago that he wants to win team trophies. He said that after Tottenham's Carabao Cup final defeat to Man City. Tottenham have not won a trophy for like 13 years. Man United, Man City and Chelsea have all been in contact with his representatives. Ryan Mason, who's Tottenham's interim manager at the moment, the other week he dismissed suggestions that Harry Kane asked to leave. But a few weeks ago it said that Harry Kane was ready to ask Tottenham to listen to transfer offers this summer. and it says the Glazers were planning to sanction a £90 million bid. But Kane would be a great signing for Manchester United. The reasons is because he would really improve us, he would assure us goals, he's regarded as one of the best strikers in the world, and he's well proven in the Premier League. So they are the reasons. And he'd fit in our team perfectly. Kane has been a long-serving player at Tottenham. He's been with them for 17 years. He's got a contract with Tottenham until 2024. Kane broke into Tottenham's senior squad back in 2009 and he came up their academy. Kane's won the Golden Boot 3 times. He's had loan spells before with Leyton Orient, Millwall, Norwich and Leicester. We still want a striker, despite Cavani signing a 1-year deal not so long ago. Obviously, you know the news on Declan Rice from West Ham. Solskjaer wants him, and Solskjaer also wants Rafael Varane from Real Madrid. I'm expecting outgoings in the summer transfer window. Solskjaer did recently say there may not be many outgoings. The players I think should go, like I've said, I think De Gea needs to go. Romero needs to go. Lee Grant needs to go. Phil Jones needs to go. I think we need to loan Brandon Williams out so he can get a lot more opportunities and he can gain more experience because he seldom plays for us. Williams is our third choice left back. Andres Pereira, I think we need to get rid of him permanently. He's out on loan with Lazio at the moment. Delors. Matic, I think we also need to offload him because he's not one of our first choice midfielders. Juan Mata, I'm also expecting him to leave. And I think we also need to get rid of Anthony Martial. He's no longer good enough to represent the club and he's been out of an injury for a while. The players we do sell in the summer transfer window will generate money and it will help us with our rebuilding process. The good news is Woodward is going to be standing down at the end of the year because it got announced earlier on this year that Woodward resigned as Manchester United vice chairman. You know, Woodward's been one of the biggest problems at the club for a while. Woodward's had a 16-year association with Man United. And we've got to get the Glazers out. They're one of the biggest problems at the club. The reasons we've got to get the Glazers out is because they've put us in so much debt. And in general, I hate the way the football club has been run for a long time. The Glazers have been at Man United for 16 years. They bought the club for $500 million back in 2005. Don't forget, Joe Glazer will be attending the Fans Forum on the 4th of June. Earlier on this year, Joe Glazer wrote a letter to Man United fans, and don't forget Avram Glazer refused to apologise over the European Super League plans. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's our best manager since Ferguson. He's our 4th permanent manager since Ferguson. We've sacked 3 managers since Ferguson. That was David Moyes, we sacked Louis van Gaal, and we also sacked Jose Mourinho. And we're not even really known as a sacking football club. Mistakes have been made in the last 8 years, and that's why we've been nowhere near as consistent as we'd like to have been. We've just got to accept that we'll never be the team we was under Ferguson, not in my lifetime anyway. When Ferguson retired, a lot of United fans predicted it were all going to go wrong, which it did. You know, Ferguson enjoyed what a 26-27 year tenure at Man United. He won 30 odd trophies, including 13 Premier League titles. So, reflecting on that, he brought success to the club. But Ferg didn't settle in straight away because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at Man United. So, yeah. So anyway guys, there'll be another video coming up soon. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.